Hi, everybody. This is Anthony Paradiso, and I'm with Jolyn Hairsign. Say hello, Jolyn,
Morning. Hello, everyone.
on this beautiful morning. So we're really excited about our, another webcast. Thank you all for joining us. Just so we can plug ourselves a little bit here for for anyone who wants to contact us, you could reach me, email aparadiso@industrialui.com. And how could I reach you, Jolyn?
J Harrisign, Haresign at industrialui.com.
Awesome. Again, well, good morning. We're real excited about having you all on this month's webcast. Again, if you do hear some background noises, I have my two interns, Lizzie and Buster, my two dogs. So you may hear barking once in a while. So if you can, just try to ignore that. But our main so again, just to guys give you information about Industrial UI, we've been doing unemployment insurance cost control the last 50 years. We've been doing it for a long time. And we recently, the last year or two, we have started a new division, HR support, and we handle any kind of employee relation consultation, management training, leadership training, anti-harassment training, and anything surrounding compliance, handbook development, outside investigations, DEI. I'm not sure. Am I forgetting else, Jolene, at all? Am I forgetting anything else at all?
No, I think you covered it all.
But so we do some of that stuff, and don't mind me. My table just swirled while I was talking, so you may have seen some movement. My apologies about that. But yeah, so if you have any questions about what we do, feel free to reach out. Our topic for today is training and development. It's a really important topic. But actually, before I do that, and I didn't tell Jolene this at all, I first wanted to just discuss quickly our conferences. We went to Jolene went to a NASWA conference a few weeks ago in LA. And I guess if you want, Jolene, do you want to just let our viewers know what NASWA is and how the conference was?
Oh, yeah. So NASWA is a joint partnership between TPAs and state organizations regarding workforce development and unemployment. We meet regularly to discuss all things, that are related to how we can make the unemployment insurance integrity better, how to, help the workforce, how to help states, work on their getting people back to work. And it was a great conference overall, lots of things happening, modernization projects all over the place, and we're very excited to be able to partner with our state partners and helping them in that endeavor.
Awesome. And I'm also going to just mention Liza and Deval are other. So Jolene's the regional VP. Our other regional VP went as well, Liza, and she had a great time as well. So I just wanted to mention Liza in here because she does listen to these. So give her a little shout out for all her hard work as well as Jolene. So yeah, I heard the conference was great. And then last week, Jolene and I, so Jolene was on a traveling spree this last several weeks. The following week,
Traveling circus.
exactly. Last week, we then went to North Carolina and Wilmington for the state SHRM conference. We had a really nice time. Unfortunately, we did kind of have to bounce out a little earlier because there was a tropical storm coming. So myself, Jolene, and Todd Cohen, the principal of Industrial UI, we actually were there for a few days, and then, like I said, we had to leave a little earlier. But we had a really good time. We're also partnering with Verification Professional surrounding verification of employment. So that was really an interesting time there. Any thoughts on that, Jolene, about that conference?
No, it was great. People of North Carolina are, super friendly, and we had a really warm welcome, and I'm glad we had a chance to be there.
Awesome. Yeah, same here. Great people, great conversations. So yeah, so that's what we've been doing the last few weeks. So we'll get into the questions pertaining to the topic again, which is training and development. We actually wrote a piece on this, a blog on this, on the importance of training development and retention. And this was actually a study. I'm just going to read this very quickly to you all. Like culture of learning and development is critical to retention, according to an MIT Technology Review report from September 2022. Reports have suggested that in response to an unprecedented talent market, a culture of learning and development is a way to keep workers on board. Continuous reports stress that managers need better training, and it goes on and on and on. It also goes on to say that a recent study indicated that about 40% of US workers feel stress or anxiety about going to work because they have first-time managers who seem unprepared to take on a leadership role. So I thought that was a good segue into the questions. So the first question is, how important to an organization is training and development? How would you, what are your thoughts on that, Jolene?
Well, I think training and development is crucial, especially in this labor market where employers are struggling to find quality candidates. I think it's important that we utilize our training and development programs to, number one, edify our workforce, making sure that everyone has the tools that they need to do the jobs that we want them to do, but also show that there's a culture of investment, that the company is investing in their workforce and making sure that people are learning new things, people are, able to bring the skills that they, brought from their previous experiences into the current job market. A trained and developed employee is more likely a happy employee, and they're going to do more things for your organization, knowing that you're investing in their future.
No, of course. Yeah. I mean, and there's a few questions after this that go over retention, but you're also going to be, because employees also want to feel that they are, that they're learning obviously throughout their job. And I believe that when employees are in that training development process, they feel as if they matter, and that career growth is important to the organization. And obviously you do grow with training and development. So it's certainly important. It is obviously, there is an investment for the employer to do so. I mean, it's, there is a cost to it, but the cost is certainly doesn't outweigh the learning process that an employee will gain and can use those new skills that they learn from that training and development. So it's all around really a great thing. And I mean, obviously you have to figure out what training and development you want to provide to your employees. I mean, there's so much training out there that you can, you can do online training, you can do someone coming in and doing a live training. If there's so many things that are at your disposal. So it's really, looking, like brainstorming and figuring out what is best for your team. You could also do a hybrid, there's just so many different things out there. And it also depends too on what employees you are, is it supervisor, is it a supervisory level, non-supervisory level, there's so many different kind of trainings that are out there. So yeah, I mean, it's really critical to pinpoint the training. And then one last thing too, like even if you're looking to do like a DEI training, for instance, I'm noticing that, prior to COVID, a lot of times you would have someone like me go into an organization and give like an hour lecture or a workshop for like an unconscious bias training. But employers are starting to realize that it's, more training is needed than just the hour. You have to have continuous training, which can apply really anything. I mean, if you have someone come in like for an hour and then you let it go for a year and there's no more follow-up or debrief from that training, you're not going to gain as much. You want to make sure you're continuing on with the training, not just kind of like stopping and then doing it, the following year, and just trying your best to kind of continue on with the training. I've noticed that. Which then leads to the next question, obviously, that we discussed training, but what kind of training is out there? So what kind of training is out there, Jolene, that you've seen, or even training that we offer?
Yeah, so I think that there's a wide range of training that is available to employers, including, things that we offer ourselves, FMLA training, DEI training, training your first line supervisors on how to document disciplinary conversations and communications training, conflict resolution, workplace safety. The list goes on. I think one thing that is very important before you start to begin any sort of training and development is, find out what, your training and development needs are, do an employee engagement survey. The more trained your workforce is, the more engaged they're going to be. So, try out, an employee engagement survey, find out, where they think they're lacking in their development in their career, and, uh, construct your program around those. And, in addition to your normal everyday compliance trainings that, you must do, your OSHA compliance, your sexual harassment training, your bloodborne pathogen training. But it's more than that. It's trying to find out what your employees need to feel engaged and feel like they are, part of your organizational culture.
No, I think that's absolutely correct. I think you're right. You hit it right in you hit it right there with the whole engagement survey or employee survey, getting information from them, not just guessing what's needed, but getting information from them. And then obviously, as mentioned in the very beginning, there are first-line managers who really don't have the necessary skills. Because I mean, often when you're a first-time manager, there are just skills you're not going to have until you actually are, until you're hands-on doing the job. So there are some things you're not going to know of, but certainly, first-time managers there might be some leadership or management trainings that you do provide them, conflict resolution. There's just certain things or communicate, or effective communication, because obviously management is all about communicating. So it's certain things that you may want to look at when it comes to certain positions like first-time managers. But if it's beyond that, definitely, reaching out to your employees, getting a survey, seeing what interests them. Because nothing beats obviously a happy employee, an engaged employee. And while you're doing those trainings, other employees the employees will be involved with one another. So you're all going to be having that interaction. I know when we do trainings, we also like to do trainings that involve it's more of an interactive training, that involve your employees or the attendees at that particular training. You want people to be involved. So we do group exercises, getting people involved, getting to know one another, because the training part is so important, because you want them to learn, but you also want them to learn about one another. And so that way, when the trainer leaves, the teams are going to be really effective, because now they have gone through this training process together. So it's the training is so much, not just on the particular topic you're learning, but beyond that, so your employees get to know each other. The other, because then when you're doing these trainings, the other important piece, and we mentioned this, is retention. So, why do you think, Jolene, training development is important to retention?
Well, I think that it's number one, it's a perception, right? The perception, if my employer is investing in my career skills and my development as an employee, it shows that they want me here long term. They want me to be a part of their organizational culture. They want me to contribute. They want me to realize my potential in the career that I've chosen. And also it is about, the reality is that a lot of, people come in, as you mentioned, as a new manager, without really understanding, all of the nuances and communicating with their employees. And so those types of things are crucial, so that your managers have the right skills to keep their employees happy and content in their chosen career, and also, making sure that they remain engaged throughout the process.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. I mean, when you offer that development training, the learning piece, the employees then do feel that there is that perception piece that I'm wanted, that I'm needed, and that they're giving me the necessary tools and best practices, so I can continue to be an effective employee or manager at the workplace. So it's definitely, perception is a huge component, because employees will feel that, they'll feel that sense of importance, or bracing of like, they're feeling included. So I mean, because if you ignore it, if you just don't do any trainings at all throughout the year, I mean, what's being accomplished? Because it's likely that the employee then may be looking elsewhere. This employee that may be looking elsewhere might be a really great employee that you don't want to lose. So, I mean, it's probably worth a few extra bucks to do the training, keep the employee, make them happy. And while you're making them happy, they're learning. So they're just going to do a better job as it is, and they're going to stay. So you don't have to deal with now hiring somebody new to replace, which is a whole other, cost analysis and all that. So I mean, it's just, it's really a win-win. It's just a matter of, I guess, really the picking the training development and then the communicating piece of it, and giving the people the time, because then that leads us to our next question is, how do you, right now we do want to offer this training and development, but now how do we fit it within people's time schedules? Because obviously we're all swamped. We were all swamped pre-COVID, but since the pandemic, we've all been really just bogged down, whether we're working remote, hybrid, in the office, whatever it is, no matter where we are, we're all feeling it. So, how does, an organization equip its employees with learning development, where there are signs of burnout, and we are now discussing mental health. So what do you think, Jolene, about that?
Well, I think it's always a delicate balance, when our operational needs are stressed to the point where, people are suffering from burnout. I mean, we have shortage of staffing, we have all sorts of hurdles that are going to stand in the way of organizational development, and we just have to find the right balance. We certainly don't want someone who is, while they're assembling widgets all day long, to be looking at a PowerPoint presentation and, trying to absorb all that information. So we need to give our employees significant time away from their essential duties and functions in order to really have an effective organizational development strategy. But like, what is the right time to do that? That is the key question.
Yeah, I know. I mean, you definitely want to avoid your busy times. You may want to avoid also holiday seasons. So you want to make sure you use that common sense approach a little bit on picking the time. I mean, so a lot of organizations tend to be slower in the beginning of the year, maybe like January. I know sometimes that might be a little different. Again, it's definitely industry by industry, but a lot of times I know organizations might be a little slower at the beginning of the year. So maybe that's when you look on doing it. You want to obviously plan it correctly. I could also say, we're doing Industrial is doing an internal DEI initiative right now. And one of our goals was to do this on company time. We don't want our employees taking any of these initiatives or any of these trainings during off hours. So also stress to your employees that this is supposed to be during, and this is if you're obviously doing an online training. Obviously, if you're doing a in-person live training where someone's coming in the office or it's live virtual, I mean, then obviously the time you're going to be, the time given is the time you're going to be having the training. But if it is an online course where it's up to the employee to take it, again, just stress to your employees to really do it during our company time, because you don't want people off hours to be stressed, and you want people to be really taking off the off hours. You want them to be relaxing and taking a break, giving their brain a little bit of a freeze and all that kind of stuff. So I think it's really just a matter of just planning it correctly, being respectful of people's time, and I think it's just all of those things combined is making sure that you're respectful of your employees. But we certainly can't stress enough the importance of training and development. And just to kind of we'll plug us a little bit since it's our webcast, but we obviously, some of the trainings that we do offer, and we offer a lot of online training. We have a whole slew of a library with loads of courses, but which include any kind of anti-harassment, DEI, FMLA, as Jolene mentioned, with his mental health, his ADA compliance, We even have classes on Microsoft Excel and Microsoft Word. So there's a variety of them. And that's, I mean, if that's what we're offering. I mean, I'm sure that's being offered. I'm sure those are main things that are being offered. So again, it really just depends what what you all are looking for and what your employees need. Anything else to add, Jolyn, before we end?
No, I think you covered it all.
Thanks. Wow, that's a first.
I know.
I'm just kidding. But we are almost out of time. We are, very excited about you all joining us. We'll be again next month. We'll be doing another webcast. Please feel free to reach out to us with any questions or comments or any ideas on a topic. If you're looking to be a guest, well, please feel free to reach out to us. We are looking to expand to having guests on, so feel free to. Again, you can reach me at aparadiso@industrialui.com. And then Jolyn, again, how can they reach you?
JHARESIGN at industrialui.com.
You can also follow us on LinkedIn, Industrial UI. That's where we put the recordings of all this, so you can check it out. But again, thank you so much. Be well and stay. Have a great fall and all that. Have a good one.
Thank you.